Okay, this is our project for the week. It's a great little fold-out calendar, and this is what it looks like when the calendar is tied, basically closed, like a mini book. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, we're going to actually make this into a calendar that sits on your desktop. So this is the outside, and then these are 6x6 pages, and we're going to do this whole thing from scratch. We're not using any kind of a pre-made product. And so the idea is that you can put your full-size pictures, these are 4x6 or 4x4 photo mats on each one, and you get the printout to do the calendars. This is a great set of pattern paper by Memory Box, sorry, and I just did a little bit of trim. So the idea of this calendar is that you then tie it open like this and you set it on your desk. So isn't that cute? So you can just go through and do a great little gift for somebody. So we're going to go through and we're going to do each one of these. I'm going to show you how to put the book together and how to do a couple of the pages. It's just a real simple format. And then I'll show you what it looks like when, well, you can see what it looks like when it's all finished. So this is just our project for the week. It's just a really great project using this paper by Memory Box. So stay tuned and I'll show you the directions. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to form the base of our calendar. So for that you're going to need 6x12 strips of cardstock. And I used all the same color. And you're going to need 3 pieces. And you're going to, so you need 3 12x12 pieces. So go ahead and cut each one into a 6x12 piece. And then you're just going to go ahead and just score that at the 6-inch mark so that you end up with these pieces that are, when they're folded, they're 6x6. So you're going to do that with all 3 pieces of your cardstock. Just a real simple, you could just fold it in half if you don't have a scoring tool, just like that. So that you end up with all these pieces. So then what we're going to do is we're going to glue these together. So we want to start out, we want to have a front cover for our book. We're going to decorate that. But what you're going to do then is you're going to start out with your first piece. Go ahead and put adhesive all around the perimeter. Like this. Now you could definitely do this with 4x6 pieces if you wanted to. I wanted to be able to put full-size pictures on mine. So I went ahead and put adhesive around the perimeter. I'm going to take my second section and I'm actually just going to glue those together back to back like that. I'm just making sure that my spine matches up. And you could just make this into a little book if you wanted to. You wouldn't actually have to do it as a calendar. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep going. But I want to leave that front cover and my back cover. I don't want to stick the whole book together so I don't end up with a complete circle. The reason being is I want to be able to fold this flat. So I'm just going to keep going. I put adhesive on the back side of that next booklet. I'm just going to go ahead and stick my next 6x12 piece on there. See so how that's working? I'm kind of I keep coming around like this. So if you wanted to do this as a 4x12, you could score it and you would use less cardstock. You would just have to scale your pictures down. When you print them, you wouldn't be able to put a full 4x6 on there, obviously, which is what I wanted to be able to do. I want this to be a really simple project. And I actually kind of like having the larger pictures. See how that's coming together? I'm just going to keep going till I get to my last one. And you, of course, could do this if you didn't want to do cardstock and then pattern paper on top. You could do the whole thing out of pattern paper. I just wanted to be able to use those 6x6 paper pads for this, and so that's why I just picked a nice neutral cardstock for my base. Okay, so I'm on to my last one. Go ahead and put my adhesive down. And as you can see, I'm not necessarily worried about getting it all the way up to those edges. You know, you certainly could. You could use a liquid adhesive for this if that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. So anyway, so I end up with what looks like a book, like this, with all these pieces. Now what I don't want to do is I don't want to glue these last 2 together, which, I mean, I could if I just wanted it to be just, you know, a round calendar, but I want to be able to tie that shut and to be able to ship that flat if I wanted to. If I'm sending this as a gift, it makes it really easy. Okay, so then we're going to start, we're going to just open it up. We're going to leave that cover for just now, and we're going to start with our first panel. Now what you need for this is you've got your printable calendars like this. I printed mine on this kind of a craft colored paper. You need a stack of 4x6 photo mats. I did all of mine in white. if you want to make this even simpler, print your pictures with a white border around it and just put them down like that. You don't even need to worry about doing photo mats if you do that. And then you need 12 pieces of 6x6 paper. I use this memory box paper that comes in a pack. There are paper pads for this. There's all kinds of things. Now, in the memory box paper, there were actually only 10 pieces of different patterns. So what I did is I also had bought a piece of this 12 by 12 that has the month tabs going down the side. So what I did is I cut off this strip right here, and I cut each of those apart with scissors. And I'm going to use those along the top of my calendar. And then I cut 2 6x6 pieces out of the center, and that left me with one extra piece. And we're going to decorate our front cover with this extra piece. For now, we can just put that off to the side. So our pages are 6x6. I could put a full 6x6 piece down, but then I'm not going to see any of my border coming around it. And I actually kind of like seeing just a little bit of that dark cardstock going around the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each of my pattern papers down to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I could do a little ink around the edge if I want to. I'm just going to go ahead and put my adhesive on it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and center that down onto my my first page, my January. Now, one of the things is this particular paper definitely has an up and a down. So as you're going through and doing your book, make sure that if you've got writing or what have you, that you continue to work in the same direction, because that can be really frustrating if you get a bunch of it done and then you find out that you've actually done a couple pieces of it upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and do my January and my February. They're just kind of next to each other like this. I'm just going to go ahead, like I said, I'm doing this just a real simple calendar. This would be a great Grandparents' Day gift. I'm going to, you know, it's nice. You could do this as a masculine gift. It's not a real frilly calendar. So if you wanted to do something that's a little bit, but you could definitely add punch outs or whatever you want to it. Now it just looks like a little book like this. So what I've got is I've got my white photo mats, and I just cut them as a 4x6 piece. And I can just go ahead and I can put these sort of wherever I want. You could cut these down if you want them to be 4x4. You know, just whatever works for you. So I've got my little calendars. So I'm just going to cut out my calendars. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a border around each one. And once again, I could mat these on a piece of cardstock if I wanted to. The calendars are included in your printable directions. I just love, so I've got my little calendar. I'm just going to cut that out like this. And then I think I actually am going to put a little bit of ink behind that, just because to make it sort of stand out a little bit. And for my January, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do my photo mat down, my full 4x6 photo mat. I'm going to put my calendar right down here. And then I'm going to find my January tab that I cut off of this big sheet. And I'm going to put my January tab up here at the top. So when I'm done, it's going to look like that. Now when I go on to do my February tab, I'm going to do a very similar thing. I'm going to do my calendar, I'm going to put my February tab, but then when I go to put my March down, I'm going to exactly match that up on the back. So that's going to sandwich there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish all of our pages. I'm going to do a little bit, I think I'm just going to put a little bit of ribbon on some of these just to kind of give it a little bit more of a, just a little bit more of a finish, and then I'll be back to show you what we're going to do to finish this project up. Whoops, sorry. Okay, before I show you the inside, I just want to show you how we're going to do the cover. For the cover, you're going to need 24 inches of ribbon, and then you're just going to go ahead and cut that into 2 pieces, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to glue that right to our front cover. And for this, I'm actually going to use a liquid adhesive because I really, really want that to hold well. And so you want to find that center point. So the cover is 6x6. You want to do that at about 3 inches. So go ahead and use your liquid adhesive. I'm working on the front cover right now. You're going to do exactly the same thing for the back. So I'm just going to lay that piece of ribbon down there. You know what? If you did the cover first, which I didn't do it that way, you could actually staple that on there, and then you're going to cover it up on the inside with a piece of pattern paper. But of course, I didn't do it that way, so I had to come up with another plan. What you want is you want to make sure that it's going to be really reinforced, so that way as you tie it and untie it, it won't come loose. And then remember, these were the pieces that after we cut off those tabs and everything, this piece is actually 4 by 12, and then I cut it into 2 4 by 6s, and then I'm just going to put half right up there on that front cover, just like this. And then I cut out some numbers out of using my Cricut. You could use old stickers if you want to. These are about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit less than that. I'm just going to go ahead and put those down the side. So I'm going to go ahead, I might as well just use my liquid adhesive since I have it out. Go ahead and stick my cover paper down, just like this. And I didn't cut this one smaller. I expected this one to go right up to my edges, like so. Going to go ahead and glue that down. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I'm actually going to run these to the Xyron, and I'm going to go ahead and put those down along the side, just like that, for my 2012 calendar. And then for my back cover, I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to put my piece of ribbon down, use my liquid adhesive, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my cover piece down. And that way you can tie the book closed and you can tie the book open. So it's just kind of a nice way to go ahead and finish this off. I just kept this, like I said, super simple, and I'm just going to go through here in a second, just show you the inside of the book. And, you know, if you did want to use the calendars, you just want to do this as just like a little 6x6 mini album, that's fine. I just find, like, when I do a lot of gifts for my parents and stuff, that they really appreciate, you know, some of these dated things like this, so they can kind of keep them out. Okay, so here's our front cover. So as you go through, so here's our January, February, where we started. We've got our little calendars on there, and then it just goes through March, April. I just kind of did something different on each page, using my pattern paper as my background, a photo mat. I cut some down to 4 by 4, so I've got either 4 by 4s or 4 by 6s. When you put your calendars down, you want to make sure that you don't, if you're not doing pictures on this when you're putting this together, don't put adhesive on the back there so you can get that picture on. You can add your adhesive on later if you want to, or you can just leave them kind of loose like that. July, August. So that's what I love about these 6x6 paper pads, is you get the small scaled down patterns, and you get lots of patterns. So you can really see how cute that comes out like that. And so the idea of this is then you can tie this open, so you can display this on a coffee table or a desk, or you can do you can also tie it closed. So that is our project for the week, and I will see you again next week. Next week we're done with our gift projects for now. We're going to be doing a new either a grandparents or back to school project. I haven't exactly decided. So have a great week, and I'll see you next week.